All right, justifying the steps in solving an equation. So now that we have reviewed how to solve linear equations, we're going to look at what properties of equality that we use in order to do so. So the additive property of equality is if A is the same thing as B, then A plus C should be the same thing as B plus C. And the multiplicative, if A equals B, then C times A should be the same thing as C times B. So if you look at that, we're going to try some to see how that works. So exercise 1, from 2x plus 9 minus 9 equals 2x minus 9. It came from here, so what you really did is you subtracted 9 from each side. The justification for that is the additive property of equality, which we learned up above. And then the next one, where you multiplied by 1/2, that's the same thing as dividing by 2. That is actually called the multiplicative property of equality. That was reasonably simple. It was a two-step equation, so we're going to try a harder one. Let's look at our first equation. As in the last problem, each step of the solution is shown, and we need to justify with a property of real numbers. So what it did is it looks like it did the distributive property, because it went from because it went from 3 parenthesis x plus 2 to 3x plus 6, and so on. The next one, it looks like instead of having the x's farther away, they move them next to each other. So that's the commutative property. And then it moved on to the distributive property again, because it took the 3 minus 2 out and put x on the outside. So again, the distributive property. The next problem, it looks like it did the additive property of equality, because it combined the like terms already, and then it subtracted 4x from both sides, so that was the additive property. And then it looks like it put the x's next to each other, so it was commutative. And then it was distributive, because it took the x on the outside. And finally, it looks like it divided by 3 on each side, so it was the multiplicative property. So strange things can happen sometimes when you solve an equation. Let's look at the original equation. From here to here, it was obviously the distributive property. Then it looks like it's subtracting 8 from each side to be able to get rid of that 8 on the right-hand side, which is the additive property. And then it looks like it did the distributive property again by taking all of the x's and putting them together. Then step 4, it was the distributive the additive property, because it's subtracting 2x from each side. And then the last one is the commutative. I cannot spell today. So the final line of this set of manipulations is a very strange statement. Negative 11 equals 0. Is this a true statement? Obviously, no. It is not a true statement. Could any value of x make it a true statement? No. This one is called no solution. So if you get rid of the variables and you end up with something that looks like this, you can just simply use the symbol for no solution, which is actually the right answer for letter C. All right, let's look at our last one. If we have the equation 7x plus 2 times x plus 5 equals 9x plus 10, we need to show that x equals negative 5 and x equals 2 are both solutions to the equation. So in order to do that, we need to plug 5 in. So 7 times 5 plus 2 times 5 plus 5 equals 9 times 5 plus 10. We also need to show, oh, sorry, that should be negative 5. So negative, negative, negative. And then we have to do the same thing for 2. So 7 times 2 plus 2 times 2 plus 5 equals 9 times 2 plus 10. All right, 7 times negative 5 is negative 35 plus, well, negative 5 plus 5 is 0, so 2 times 0 is 0. Is that equal to 9 times negative 5 is negative 45 plus 10. So now I have negative 35 equals negative 35, so that works. And then I have 14 plus 2 times 7 is 14 equals 9 times 2 is 18 plus 10. So I have 28 equals 28. Solve by manipulating each side of the equation as we did above. So we're going to go through and solve for x to see what happens. So I have 7x plus 2 times x plus 5 equals 9x plus 10. Distributive property, so I have 7x plus 2x plus 10 equals 9x plus 10. So I have 9x plus 10 equals 9x plus 10. Notice how I have the exact same thing on both sides. So what would happen if I moved 9x to one side and 10 to the other? I'm going to end up with 0 equals 0. So if I were to pick any other number, it would work. So if I put 0 in there, then I would have 0 plus 2 times 5, because 0 plus 5 is 5, equals 0 plus 10. I now have 10 equals 10, which is true. So no matter what number I put in there, I will end up with a statement that is true, because any real number or infinitely many, so any number, an infinite amount of numbers that you put in there would always make it true.